Early one warm morning, a tiny ant walked slowly across a green field. The sun was rising, and the grass was covered with small drops of dew. The little ant looked around carefully and found a single grain of food. The grain was almost as big as her head, but the ant lifted it with all her strength. Step by step, she carried the grain back to her small home. When she reached home, she placed the grain inside. Then she rested for a moment and smiled. The next day, the ant woke up early again. She walked out into the field and searched for food. Soon she found another grain. Just like the day before, she picked it up and carried it home. Slowly, carefully, without giving up. Every day she did the same thing. One grain every single day. One afternoon, a grasshopper watched her and started laughing. "Little ant, why do you work so hard for just one grain? You are so slow. Why don't you carry a big pile at once?" The ant smiled and replied gently, "I only carry one grain each day, but I never miss a day." The grasshopper shook his head. "That will take forever." Then he jumped away and spent the rest of the day playing and singing. But the ant continued her work. One grain today, another grain tomorrow. Some days were hot and tiring. The sun burned brightly in the sky, but the ant still carried her one grain. Some days were windy. The strong wind pushed her backward as she walked. Still, she did not give up. Some days it rained. The ground became muddy and slippery, but the ant kept going. She did not wait to feel motivated. She simply followed her habit. One grain every day. Days slowly turned into weeks. Weeks slowly turned into months. Without making noise, without showing off, the little ant kept working quietly. While other insects played all day, the ant stayed focused on her small task. Then, one day, winter finally arrived. Cold winds blew across the field. The trees were silent. Food became very hard to find. The grasshopper, who once laughed, was now very hungry. He searched everywhere for food, but the field was empty. Cold and tired, the grasshopper walked toward the ant's home. He knocked on the small door. The ant opened it. When the grasshopper looked inside, his eyes grew wide. Inside the tiny home was a huge pile of grains. Grains in one corner, grains in another corner. Food everywhere. "How did you collect so much food?" The ant replied softly, "I did not collect it all in one day. I simply carried one grain every day." The grasshopper finally understood the lesson. Small actions may look unimportant at first, but when you repeat them every single day, they become powerful. One small step, done again and again. That is how big success is built. So remember the lesson of the tiny ant. You do not need to do something huge today. Just take one small step. Carry one grain today. Carry another tomorrow. And one day you will realize those tiny steps created something truly big.